Today we are learning basketball at 2025 Orlando Magic Media Day. Listen to my interviews with Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Jonathan Isaac, Goga Batadze, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Tyus Jones, Jace Richardson, and Coach Shamal Mosley. Paulo, you had a quote a while back that roughly said you wanted to add a point guard, add a shooter. How great is it knowing your front office is looking out for you to build a winner by bringing in, addressing all those needs this summer with a three-point sniper in Desmond Bane, Suggs recovering from injury, Jace, Tyus, the list goes on.
Yeah, it feels good, definitely happy with the moves that, the organization made and brought, two great experienced players in here and drafted two great rookies, I think. So just excited to get to work with the group and get on the court and start building that.
Instant reaction to the Desmond Bane trade, getting another dog like Bane in here. Have you guys talked about that defense and just building an identity in the backcourt as the toughest duo?
Absolutely. We've had a lot of great conversations, to be honest. He's especially been around like this past month and in the building, which I have been as well. So it's created a lot of great space for us to be around, have conversations, both about basketball, obviously, because we're in here working out and, got to be enjoying workouts together and really kind of get the feel of being on the court with each other a bit. But I think really what I've cherished most so far, outside of seeing him playing the runs here and be just an absolute dog, talk the most smack in the building, which I was talking from the sideline, I wasn't even playing, he was turning me up. But just our conversations about life, about where he's come from, all the trials that he's faced, how he's gotten to this point in his career, being able to share vice versa, the things that I hold true to my heart, close to my heart, the things that make me who I am, the people that make me who I am, and getting to share that side of everything. I feel like it's how you truly create chemistry, how you truly create that connection to where on the court I can trust Dez fully because I know Dez, and Dez can trust me 100% because he knows who Jalen Suggs is. And I think when we get to mesh that, as time passes, as we continue to play, as the season evolves and goes on, I think the league, everyone who follows basketball, will continue to see why not only was that one of the best acquisitions of the summer, but why me and Bane can be one of greedy talk, the best backcourt in the NBA because of how well versed we are in every aspect. We either are elite or we cover for each other and where we are elite. So I'm very excited to get to hooping with him along with everybody else.
Des, with your experience in Memphis, showing all versatility off the ball, on the ball, how do you project and see your role fitting in here with all that experience and versatility just translating right over?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what last year and a few of the previous years in Memphis have taught me, that regardless of situation, I'll be able to have an impact. I'm willing to do whatever, however the team needs or sees fit. So I'm confident, being thrown in just about any situation on the court on both sides of the floor.
With your incredible success in FIBA, Eurobasket, World Cup, is there any specific skills that you think translate to the NBA that you might have picked up playing with all that experience and different style of play, given that there is a few different rules and different styles over there?
I mean, obviously it's basketball. It is a lot different, I will say that. I think the biggest thing that I took away from it is, just the vibe that we have with that team is super special. And I think in moments of adversity, in tight games, maybe in some adversity moments in practice, I think those things go a long way when you trust the guy next to you. And I think we've got to do our best to create that same vibe here. I know it's a lot harder, it's a longer season, it's a different situation in the NBA, but I think for me that was our superpower in the summer.
I think with Jalen being back on the floor as well as Desmond here, you have quick decision makers, you have ball handlers that can also make plays. And so when you have that, you have 4 or 5 guys on the court at one time that can go make something happen. And I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of Franz and Paulo to try to create more than they need to. That the ball is going to hit their hands after it's shifted side to side, and they have a big-time three-point threat, a big-time playmaker in Desmond Bane as well as Jalen. So I think those are going to be big key pieces for us moving forward.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Coach, last year's offense primarily run through Franz and Paulo on the ball. Can you provide any insight into how the playbook opens up with the addition of Desmond Bane, let alone Suggs coming back, just in terms of setting up plays for Bane off ball, where maybe the primary goal of the play is to get that three-point shot for Bane more so than anything else?
I think with Jalen being back on the floor as well as Desmond here, you have quick decision makers, you have ball handlers that can also make plays. And so when you have that, you have 4 or 5 guys on the court at one time that can go make something happen. And I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of Franz and Paulo to try to create more than they need to. That the ball is going to hit their hands after it's shifted side to side, and they have a big-time three-point threat, a big-time playmaker in Desmond Bane as well as Jalen. So I think those are going to be big key pieces for us moving forward.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Do you consider yourself, let's say, as versatile as any big man in the NBA? And the fun question, let's say a little hypothetical 2-on-2 NBA likes to involve the WNBA maybe for a little 2-on-2 game. How about Wendell and Angel Reese versus Asia Wilson and Bam Adebayo? Who wins? First to 11.
All right, for your first question, I definitely feel like I'm one of the most versatile bigs in this league. You know, you look at a guy like you just said, Bam. Bam was probably the ideal type that everyone thinks is the most versatile big in this league. But I'm right up there with them. I feel like I can do pretty much anything that's needed. Guard 1 through 5, can rebound, can screen well, can pass the ball really well, can knock down open shots. So, yeah, I definitely think I'll rank up there in terms of versatility. In terms of the 2-on-2, definitely 11-0, Wendell and Angel for sure.
There it is. Thank you.
Shout out Bam and Angel though.
Yoga, you were splashing threes for Georgia. How confident do you feel in your three-point shot today, and do you expect to take a higher volume of threes this season?
I'm always been confident. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but yeah, I've been confident because I put the work in. I mean, every single year it's the same thing. Everybody knows here I have good mechanics. If you get into the details, I come here and if somebody looks at my workout, like. I'm a shooter, and I proved that on Eurobasket. So now, last year I proved myself that I can be a winner. I can actually have a huge role with the team, and help the team winning the games. Now I think I have that little bit of extra confidence. Maybe I can take a shot or two, and it's not gonna be. I mean, nobody has ever said to me like, oh. I'll be honest with you, like, don't shoot the threes. Nobody has ever said that. And Jamal never said that, or anybody around the team. So I have that, green light from them to take the not crazy shots, pull out the duffel. I said, like, not to take some step back or something, but like the, wide open three. It's gonna be different game for everybody. It's gonna space the floor well, and me seeing myself, still, hitting those shots in Eurobasket and be a good shooter. And I think it's a little extra confidence, and it's going to translate in here as well.
I'm not sure if you're aware, Tyus, but Magic fans have been begging the team to trade for specifically you for not just a year, like 5 years running.
Yeah.
Do you have a message for fans now that their answers have been, or their prayers have been answered, now that you're rocking the blue and white?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. I plan on making those fans happy, and look forward to playing in front of them. But this has been a place where I've kind of had my eye on and thought the fit was there the last few years, and it eventually played itself out. You know what I mean? And the time is right now, and I'm excited to be here. And I think the fit is right, and I don't want to, put too many expectations on it, but I know it's going to be a good year.
How do you envision your role next year with all the roster overhaul? And are there any minutes restrictions? You feel good to go, fully unlimited to play as much as you need every night?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any minute restrictions. And as far as my role, honestly, I don't really know. We're gonna find out through training camp and through the early games and really just the season. It changes so drastically throughout the year about what's needed, what's working, what's not working. And so I'm just going into it with an open mind, open heart, just allowing coach to let us know what he needs from us, and we'll figure that out as we go.
Hey, Jace, I caught you live back at in high school at a Mount Bird game. How would you describe your development since playing early on with, the Boozer twins back then, getting to Michigan State, and here you are, ready to step right in Orlando?
Well, I think my game has just got a lot more different since that moment. I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger in my game, just physically and mentally. Just going to college, you go to college and you learn a lot of different things, how schemes work, film, all types of things. So I just felt like I've kind of just gotten better since that moment.
Absolutely, and your touch on floaters is what really stood out. That tough shot making was one of my favorite attributes that I saw there. How would you say, are there any specific skills that you've worked on since then that you think will, provide an opportunity to build on your role here and earn minutes earlier than maybe expected?
Just being physical. I felt like for me, going to college, one of my main mindsets was just get stronger. So try to stay in the weight room as much as I can, and still to this day, just try to stay in the weight room as much as I can so I can use my physicality, because NBA is a physical league, so just getting stronger.
And lastly, how excited are you for your brother, moving up the recruitment ranks and really just showing off his explosiveness, just like y'all's dad?
It's crazy, just watching where he's at today. I just remember him when we were kids in the backyard playing basketball. So to see him and see what he has become today, it's amazing.
As the team success grows and expectations rise, do you have any specific goals for the season, whether it's individual awards, number of wins, or playoff success for the team?
Yeah, there's a lot of goals that I set for myself and a lot of goals that I set for the team. And, I just know I'm going to go out there every day and work as hard as I can to reach all those goals. And those goals grow every single year. And so what my goals were 2 years ago aren't the same as they are now. So, I understand that that's going to take more work and more focus, but, I'm ready for it. So,
Learning Basketball is a Swish Theory podcast hosted from Beyond the Arcade. Hey, that's me. You can find my work on Twitter, YouTube, Substack, and check out the team's writing at theswishtheory.com. Today we are learning basketball with David Molins. He is an assistant coach coaching the youth levels with Barcelona Basketball, and I'm super excited to dive in, pick his brain a little bit about not only his journey to where he is today, but just how coaching is different where in the league where he coaches, and just the similarities, the differences, and mostly just one thing that translates everywhere is basketball development. And I can't wait to hear about your focus on player development from the youth levels up to the pro levels, and just kind of what it looks like, especially in the early developmental cycles for prospects that are starting early ages, but getting that pro level experience playing with other grown men their age at these levels that is super impressive, and just a different dynamic than the youth levels that are here in the States. So first things first, how you doing today, David?
All good. Thanks Ryan for inviting me here. I'm super excited, and yeah, I think we'll have a great time talking about basketball.
Always. So funny enough, we first connected a few years back, DMing about some analytics advice. It seems like we both figured out how to use Tableau by now a little bit to help us with some of the scouting, some of the process there. And that's kind of generally where I want to start off with you is, first, can you describe a little bit of your journey to get to where you are today, and what you value in coaching, and how that has helped you, get to this level? And, from there, a little bit of your thoughts of just the role of analytics in basketball in general, whether it's coaching or scouting, and how it just is another tool for decision making.
Yeah, how I started, basketball has always been part of my life. First playing, and then I started coaching when I was 15. In school, I was only going once a week, and then next year twice a week as an assistant coach. So yeah, I bit by bit started to like it more. I was thinking a lot about my practices. So yeah, after that, some years I went to the club that I was playing at that time. And yeah, I've always combined basketball with studies and then with my regular job. And and yeah, like I was coaching in this club which is called Jack Sands in Barcelona. And then 3 years ago is when I got into Barca, playing coaching in the under 14, first like 3 years an assistant coach, and this, well, I've been only 1 month as a head coach of U13. And at the same time, in my studies, I studied telecommunications engineering. So yeah, I like maths, statistics, but at that time I didn't even know that this could be connected to basketball. So when I realized, yeah, like I loved it because it was like putting together two of my passions. And yeah, always as a coach, you're always thinking like, how can you help your players, your team? So I saw it as another tool, like to get more truth or to try to get to the truth. So yeah, like I've been interested since then. Well, you saw my beginnings. Like I didn't even know what Tableau was, and yeah, since then I have always used it as a tool. In some cases, I think what is most important is like to watch basketball and understand it, and think of analytics as a tool that can help.
Right, exactly. Like I don't think it's ever meant to be one or the other, and I think that hits the nail on the head. And just that it's one of many tools for the decision making, for the evaluation process. And sometimes, like for me, especially, and I assume other people that can just kind of understand and feel and relate to the numbers. Like it's easier to look at the numbers to kind of correlate with what you're seeing out on the court. And sometimes the numbers see things that you might not, and the numbers don't really lie of what happened. If you're just looking at straight totals of what happened out there, like they're going to be straight up with you. So you might think like a player has an amazing floater because he swished a few of them, and then you look at the numbers and it turns out you just saw the three that went in, and he missed the other 20 or something. But it's just a balance of kind of like checking yourself and not trying to over stimulate the eye test by putting too much into like one data point while still kind of appreciating that it is a data point. It did happen, that you did see that it's possible for that to happen. So how many times does it happen? How consistent is it? How many factors go into it? And that's just, scouting in general. So it's a super interesting process. I would start with the coaching side of things. So on the youth levels, are there any certain things that you focus on that you want to, make sure you instill that you in your players from day one, no matter what type of player they are? Like these are just the coaching philosophies that I have to drill down every single year, and then we'll get into skill development from there for each individual. But like, I need my players to do X, Y, and Z to just learn the basics of team basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, actually, as I've been going to a higher level, I've realized that the most important things is the basics. Like when I got into FC Barcelona, I thought that maybe the things that we would be doing would be like super complex, and actually, the time that we put in is mostly about the basics, and not only about basketball, also about the mindset, the habits. I do have like a good mindset of being like resilient, to give always my 100%, things like this. And on court, one-on-one defense, like running the court, understanding the game. So it's things that, of course, you have to work on it, but mostly defense. Like if you can't defend, you can't be on the court. And always what you can bring in offense, it's always a plus. So yeah, I really agree with this idea, because in the end, when you watch basketball, of course your eyes goes to like the best player and like how many things they can do, but there are so many more role players that are making a living out of basketball. And if they became pros, it's because they mastered the basics. So yeah, it's something that I always have in mind, and in FC Barcelona, we all do.
And can you dig into a little of what those basics are for you? Is it dribble, pass, shoot, defend, team style? Like you might think of the classic Spurs teams that, and now just a lot of teams have to do this. But are those the basics? And or what do you mean by basics? It could be pick and rolls.
Yeah. Well, it's most of what you said. Like in our case, being in U14, we haven't played pick and roll yet. So it's I was talking about defense, like being responsible of your guy, but also understanding that even if I guard you, I'm guarding your team. So even if another one has the ball and I'm not guarding him, still I have to be in a position that I can help my teammate, because it's not, if he scores, like he's the one who is guarding scores, it's not my teammate's fault. It's the five of us that they scored on us. So I have to do whatever is possible, and maybe it's not like rocket science, but yeah, do whatever you can, because this is the main goal. And this relates to like the purpose. So everything that I do on the court has a purpose. So I have to understanding that this is why I was saying, understand the game, because also in offense, until this age, it's mostly one-on-one, moving without the ball, running a lot of fast break, and yeah, maybe but like the most complex per se is doing handoffs, but without any structure, because until this age we are very focused on like freedom, just understanding the basics of also spacing, so that if I'm dribbling, you are not next to me because you are like closing the gap. So yeah, things like this.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Especially at the youth levels, to keep it on the basics. And I like the word of freedom there. Just trying to like put out a few base systems to learn team basketball out of, and like just play out of that and create out of that. And underlining the point you said about putting the team first, and that the unit lives and dies as a unit. Like they are all responsible together for making up for each other, for covering for each other. And if everyone does their job, it's a lot easier for everyone else to, the unit to get that stop as a team. So it's super interesting. Just the development side of it all. From there, is there any certain skills that you do try to develop from there? Maybe it depends on the player, like whether it's shooting or passing. And also, are there any different rules that you try to develop skills for, that the rules are slightly different? Like, for instance, I believe, I'm not sure at that age if goaltending is allowed, but that seems to be, one of the bigger ones. And in a difference between the Euroleague and NBA is that, you can just stick your hand in there and goaltend depending on the situation there. That's a whole different, ball game when it comes to rim protection and rules. But, at that age, it might be a little too early to kind of get up there in the cup. So is that something you try to develop skills for, or anything in that vicinity of just different rules that you might, or different style of play that you might try to like specifically, develop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like answering first the first one. Also, I would say this is the basic, but being able to finish strong, to finish also with only one step, two steps, also to finish using like stops, pivot, things like this. Also to be able to dribble so that I'm able to get rid of my defender with the moves being efficient. Also to be able to attack closeouts, to be able to touch the paint, and then once we touch the paint, to be able to share the ball so that the advantage is getting bigger. So without stopping the ball, maybe I create like half of an advantage. But if I pass the ball quick and my team keeps moving the ball, we are able to build a bigger advantage. So yeah, of course, passing is super crucial in this kind of game. And later on, when they are older, they start using the sets, pick and roll, whatever. But in the end, like all of the systems have like closeouts in their game. Is in the end is also about creating an advantage, but in a different way. And then once this advantage is created, then they are able to attack closeouts, finishing strong, going to the offensive rebound like super strong. So yeah, this is like our basics, and of course it's also about mastering the technique.
And what's been your favorite experience, at this role, whether it's on the coaching youth basketball side or just being a part of the Barcelona international basketball Eurobasket team in general, or Euroleague team in general?
Well, I mean, for me, like going to the stadium to the basketball court to watch the Euroleague games, this is like the thing that I can do for now. So yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and like taking my experiences as a coach in youth, being able to be a coach in the Minicopa, which is something that is getting bigger. It's a tournament, so like in the pros play the Copa del Rey, which is like the in-season tournament that now the NBA is doing for the last years. In Europe, each like local league has its own around February, and it's like a weekend, 3 or 4 days that it's quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. So I think for 20 years, something like this. I know that the first Minicopa was the MVP was Ricky Rubio. So when he was 14, so yeah, you can
Legend.
imagine. I think it's around 10, 20 years, and it's cool because you see like all of these examples of players that played the Minicopa, and then they have become pros afterwards. And yeah, like every year I've been part of that for these 3 last years, and every year they improve. Also, like the games are on YouTube, and yeah, it's kind of crazy for players to be exposed like that for that age. But if you can take the good things about that, is really cool. The first year we lost in the finals, and it was tough, but I think we learned a lot from our mistakes, and we were able to win the last two. So yeah, it was great.
Hey, I mean that's got to be an awesome experience. Just being a part of any tournament win, any type of competitive atmosphere like that at any level, and especially something with that stage. I mean, those stakes. To those players, that's the biggest stage they've ever been on, and I imagine some of the coaches too. So, that it's just must be an awesome feeling to feel that success and go through the ups and downs of basketball that way, where you had a little Spurs revenge tour of your own, it sounds like, where you lose the finals and you come back stronger the next year.
Yeah, and yeah, as I said, it's crazy how kids they are able to play on that environment. But also, I was saying that you can always take the good things about this, and the players that thrive into that pressure, like they are able to keep going through the ages, and they have already had that experience. That, I mean, me, like as a player, I wasn't good at all, and I was thinking like, man, if I had to play in this environment, I wouldn't have been able to leave the locker room. So yeah, I think it's very brave from them, and also they are able to have fun and make friends from other teams. So it's a great experience.
Yeah, I can imagine as a kid, like it's some bright lights, and that's kind of the stakes, like of basketball. That Kobe talks about. That you only feel pressure if you're unprepared, and that says a lot because it's a big stage. Not everyone can handle the lights and the stage the same way, and on the one hand, you get notoriety, you get awareness for your game if you play well, and that is the positive. And with that light comes the negative as well, where there's a lot of critiques in sports, and that's kind of the world we live in. There's plenty of fans quick to make a criticism, so you got to kind of take the lumps along with it, know that it's just one game, and you can always bounce back. So I'm sure it's a challenge, especially to kind of handle the emotions of the young players as well. I imagine just trying to help them balance.
Yeah, and also, I mean, when they get into this age and they know they will be playing Minicopa, it's something they have on their mind. For them, it's super important to be ready for those games. And for us, like the coaching staff, we know that the most important thing is that they improve. But we can use that tournament because it's like a huge motivation for them to improve and to feel ready for that. And we can also, the experience of losing that in the finals, we knew what were the things that we had to do, that we had to have. So, of course, you can't be talking about the tournament every single day, because then the focus, I think, is the wrong one. But if you are able to use it smartly, and the head coach that I was able to assist to, he was great on that. It's good to use the competition as a tool to improve.
Yeah, I think that's what you want to hear from all youth coaches, is that the big scheme of things, the player development and just the person development is what's most important during these like teenage years, essentially. And at the same time, like let's get up for the big moments, and let any motivational factor you can find, good or bad, comes in handy during the basketball season to get people focused. And like we said, this is probably the biggest game of their life at that point, and they want to prove everybody wrong and who they are, and put some gravitas behind their name. So I'm sure it's a tricky balance, but it sounds like you guys found the right balance there. I wanted to shout out some of the history of the program a little bit. Juan Carlos Navarro, like one of the greatest of all time for Barcelona, and I was Anderson Varejao, the Gasol brothers, and there might some familiar NBA names that are still around the team, on the team. Tomas Satoransky, Jan Vesely, Willie Hernan Gomez. How cool is it to just kind of what do these players mean to this program? And can you just put, I know Juan Carlos Navarro especially means a lot to this team. Could you give the listeners just a quick little like history of just how much these guys mean to this team?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. The example of Juan Carlos Navarro, I grew up watching him play, and then when he went to the NBA, that in the end it was just 1 year, but I think he had like some records of like 3-point shooting for a rookie. Well, him and the Gasol, like they brought me to the like NBA games. Meaning that I was staying at night so that I could watch some of their games. So yeah, like it's not only that they are, that you knew them before going to the NBA. It's that they were coming from FC Barcelona. So of course it's you feel super proud. And at the same time, both Pau Gasol and Navarro, they came back after going to the NBA. So I think this is also meaningful. And yeah, you have mentioned as well other players that maybe they didn't started in FC Barcelona, but they were part of the team once they became pro. So yeah, also not talking just about FC Barcelona, also European basketball. It's great that you can see like more players that are going to the NBA, and it's not like back then that it was just a few players and it was like surprising. Now I think from Europe the level has risen, and yeah, I think it's something that is good for everyone.
Yeah, and these Spain teams are. I mean, I know the in the World Cup and Olympics style are just thought of as some of the greatest teams of all time. Like there's a reason. Team USA needed to have a redeem team moment, and it's Argentina, but it's also Spain. Like Spain is. I mean, those Gasol brothers. The idea of like NBA teams like trying to recreate the Spain team in some fashion was always appealing because they're just the chemistry is just so incredible. I can't underrate enough like how important it seems like building from the ground up with the basics and the fundamentals, but also the continuity and chemistry of these units just playing their entire lives together and just knowing where everyone's going to be like the back of their heads. And to your point, Juan Carlos Navarro only had one season in the NBA, but he set the record for the Grizzlies three-pointers for rookies. He made the all-rookie second team, and he had an incredible career with the Spain team, with FC Barcelona team, where I am highly familiar with his game, and I didn't really fully realize it was only 1 year in the NBA. It's from all of these Spain teams where he's just, destroying everybody with Rudy Fernandez and the Gasol brothers, and the list goes on there. And I believe he's currently the GM as well for the main team there. So full circle moment that he's still repping and helping the team building side. So just wanted to kind of give him his flowers because I know he just means so much to that city, that program, and obviously the Gasols are probably the greatest players of all time to come out of the country. So we just got to give flowers to everybody here real quick.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying that, of course, this generation of Spain was special. Actually, Pau Gasol and Juan Carlos Navarro, they are the same age, so they were playing together in FC Barcelona and in the national team. I don't know if back then it was already from this age, but now from 12 years old, they are like making the group of like different players from Spain, and every summer you have the level, you are every summer like training and then going to tournaments together. So yeah, like this chemistry had been building for years. They were and are friends, and also there was this commitment of every year that they could, they were going to with the national team. Sometimes you see that there are players who put like their other stuff in front, and like year in year out they were going to the national team because of course like they wanted to get the gold medal for all of the competitions they could, and they were having fun. Here there was a documentary made afterwards that is called La Familia, which is the family, and yeah, I think this is very meaningful of what they meant to each other.
Yeah, I can only imagine that the chemistry, the bonds between these guys is incredible because it's 2 decades of like basketball excellence. Like I saw that Navarro became I'm not sure if the Gasols caught up to this record, but he became the first player to have 5 different the first Spanish player to compete in 5 Olympic games is the words I'm looking for. And obviously the 2008 gold medal game is to this day the greatest, like most epic game of all time when it comes to the Olympics for me, and so for me growing up, at least one of my favorite moments. And obviously just all-time incredible stakes, Kobe versus Pau, and it just goes all the way down the line there with all-time greats. And young Ricky Rubio, shout out to Rubio, he was a legend too. So these are a lot of fun names. And can you hit on Ricky a little bit as well, like what he meant at that age, like as a prospect? Like he was the next Pistol Pete, he was the next like greatest point guard of all time, and something that he really embodies to me. And obviously he became a great veteran in the NBA as well, just like teaching so many young prospects how to be great point guards. But he embodies the effective flair idea, where like he can use trick moves effectively to throw off the opponents, where it's not just for flash, it is out there to confuse the opponent with a no look because he can.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you say that I think he really well now he's back playing in Juventud Badalona. But yeah, especially when you were looking him play when he was 16, 17, you could see like how much fun he was having playing, at the same time how much he competed. But yeah, it's what you say, like he was able to do like no look passes, like alley-oops, and it's not for the flaws, it's because he saw that it was the most efficient play. And yeah, I think like being able to then adapt to FC Barcelona, winning an Euroleague, and 2 years later going to the NBA, being played by different teams. And also it's great that you see like different players, like I don't know, Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Love, like how much they appreciate him as a person. I think it speaks volumes of Ricky, because yeah, it's for me it's more than a great basketball player. Also as a person, and now with all of the things that he's saying about like mental health, the interviews that he is giving, and like of course like he's not ashamed of what it happened, and like he wants to spread the word and explain his situation, and try to help others. I think yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't say enough good things, especially when an athlete is able to go on the record in such a bright public light and talk about their own mental health that is generally, a private subject for a lot of people. It takes a lot to not only talk about it, but like share it, to normalize those conversations, and hopefully connect with anyone that's struggling, and help them feel a little more comfortable with the idea that a lot of people go through some version of that, and that they're not alone. So it's definitely awesome of Ricky to do that. When talking about Ricky, something just clicked for me that now I have to ask you about, related to FC Barcelona. My one of my favorite players and prospects, Mario Hezonja, spent some of his early time, before the Orlando Magic and NBA. He was on these, under 18 teams and with the FC Barcelona program. Can you tell me anything about his time with the team and the unit, and just kind of him as a prospect back then? Because it was before I got into scouting, but he was a guy that I didn't know a ton before the draft. It was like probably a year, like right on the fringes of, I love scouting, but I'm not doing all of it quite yet, in terms of my own basketball scouting perspective. So when the Magic took him, I was all in on Porzingis that year. I remember like really wanting Porzingis in the draft, and the Magic fell to 5 and Porzingis went 4, and we took Mario Hezonja. And I didn't know much about him at the time, so I put on some highlights, and I see he's inviting Lionel Messi to come see him play. When asked upon, he's like, he was asked, "Do you ever go see Messi play?" He's like, "Let Messi come see me." That was like the infamous quote. And just these funny bravado nicknames like Croatian Kobe, Croatian Clay. I was won over instantly. The dunks, the threes. He was so exciting to see the highlights of. So I was just wondering, kind of anything you might be able to share from his time there in that unit.
Yeah, I mean now it's a tough one because now he's playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah, rivalry going on. House divided.
Yeah. No, but back then, I mean, I didn't watch him when he was playing in youth FC Barcelona, but I did when he was playing for the first team. And you could see like the skills that he had, even though he was a young player. How many things he could do on the court. He could play in different positions. The strength that he had, the dunks that he was doing, you could see that it was like NBA potential. Of course, being a young player, and he knew how good he was. There were other things at that time we were having like a great team. So he wasn't having a lot of playing time, but yeah, it's also part of the learning. But yeah, also seeing him then going in the NBA. I think he did like a block to LeBron James on a final play.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He was on the Knicks. He blocked LeBron at the buzzer.
Yeah, seeing that was incredible. So yeah, good for him.
Man, love Hazonia's time here. I'm one of the few probably that thinks he didn't even get a full fair shake here in Orlando. Just the way, kind of a similar situation where you could say he was given an opportunity, but it felt like he wasn't allowed to make mistakes. It was a weird situation where we were just trying to compete hard enough to try to win 500 games, and there was no room, or just to win half their games, and there was just no room to kind of let him make mistakes and develop, because whether he was hitting his threes or taking a three too early, he was just kind of yanked for not following the game plan to a T. And I just thought it was a little too strict for his development personally, but he did go on to play for the Blazers, the Knicks, have some fun moments, and now doing it up for Real Madrid and still playing for Croatia, of course, overseas. So I had a question, and you would probably be able to tell me a lot better than I would judge for myself, and fans who probably don't exactly know the level of competition that is kind of different between leagues. Could you kind of put into perspective just the level of competition that the Euroleague is in general compared to all of the international basketball leagues that are out there, and between the NBA down to the NBL, and there's just so many to name, but just the level of competition, kind of just put it in a scale for the listeners.
I mean, I would say that of course, like in the NBA, like the best players are in the NBA, that's for sure. But the EuroLeague as a league for me is incredible, because it's kind of what they sell, but the title of every game matters, for me it's super true. And like there are no games that is like, okay, we are down by so many points at halftime, so let's play with the role players. I mean, no, this doesn't exist. I mean, every game it's until the end, because also there's like the basket average. So yeah, every game matters, and also the teams not always are the same. So if there's a team in Europe that is consistently doing good, they have the chance to go to the EuroLeague. So this means that if there's a team who is struggling for some years, they could go out of the EuroLeague. So I think it also makes it super demanding, because everyone wants to be there. And yeah, also the EuroLeague adapted the play-in, which I think is a fantastic idea. There's the playoffs, and finally there's this Final Four, which is semifinals just one game and finals just one game, which is crazy. Actually, it's a dream of mine to go to a Final Four. It's everything happening in a weekend in the same place. So yeah, I think this is crazy. And again, the every game matters is really, really true.
Yeah, everyone has to love basketball when there's that many stakes, that big of stakes attached. Like it just makes it, everything feels a little bit more important. Every shot you live and die with. And I definitely agree and think that the EuroLeague is the second best league in the world. I think that's kind of what I was getting at. That like as soon as right on the when you're looking at NBA players that are fighting for the end of the roster, I think they're just as incentivized, if not more so, to go to the EuroLeague to compete than just about any other league. Even more so than the G League, I would think. I'm not that the G League is anywhere near that level of competition, but I think there's probably financial incentives to go to EuroLeague as well, versus the G League is probably more like development and incentives without having to deal with the travel of going back and forth. But in terms of opportunity, I think it's the next league that every player wants to go to, and that's kind of what I was getting at. It's just that it has that level of respect, it has the financial incentives, and also if you love competitive team basketball, the product is as good as anything in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many players that from EuroLeague then go to the NBA and back, and yeah, well, this is why I think is the closest in terms of basketball to the NBA. That's for sure.
Yeah, and so I'd love to pick your brain here a little bit, just on analytics and in general in the sport. How do you see analytics evolving in EuroLeague at the moment? But in any form, whether it's scouting, coaching, decision making, do you use it in your day-to-day job still? Are you able to evolve it? And are there any lessons from the coaching staff that maybe you picked up from Juan? I hope I pronounced his name right. Do you work with him directly as well? And is there anything you've learned from that staff and your experience over the years?
No, I mean this last thing, I'm not able to work with the first team. I would love to, but
okay.
But no. And the analytics state. So I think for sure we are some steps behind the NBA in Europe, but at the same time I think it's following like a different path because of the salary cap that there is in the NBA. Here there isn't. So I think if you are able to invest more money into a player rather than a basketball analyst, for sure they will go to a better player, and that's how it is. What I think it's evolving is that I think now there are more assistant coaches that have a knowledge about analytics, and maybe they have knowledge about like the conceptual part, and they have someone helping from the technical side so that they can able to pull stats and graphs and some like automatic reports. I think this is where it is evolving, and there are some examples. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like the EuroLeague or whole Europe to do like more steps in front. But yeah, I think we are going on a good way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Just the incentive to begin with, I hadn't necessarily realized that, but a big role of analytics on the NBA side compared to EuroLeague, like you're saying, is to maximize your dollar, to get the most value out of the money that you're sending out. Your team has to spend a certain amount on players to reach a salary floor, and they can only spend so much on players before they hit the salary cap and the apron where they start getting penalized. So they have to stay between that exact amount to, find that balance on the books. And that's a huge part of the front office's job, is just that value extraction, or getting the most impact out of players and, not overspending to do so for the most part. And, that's not necessarily an equation in the team building side over there. It's more so that the analytics can probably spend more time on the actual basketball, it sounds like, on the players themselves, the player development side, the coaching side. And, another thing that strikes me is that, EuroLeague and European style of play already is kind of like in sync with the goals of analytics. Like if analytics opens your eyes and say layups and threes are good, well, that's kind of what EuroLeague is already after. Like that's what team first drive and kick basketball is already the goal of. So it's almost like but how do we get the most out of that? Because we're already trying that. So I think maybe the style of play helps with the familiarity for the coaches to kind of accept it quicker, because it matches up and aligns with the goals of the style of play so cleanly already. Do you think there's anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think even though there aren't like analytic person inside every team, I think everyone is like looking at the trends, looking at the games, and maybe like in the NBA, there's been already some many years of like let's play at a higher pace, and you can see like here, for example, last year Paris basketball was crazy, the pace that they were playing, and their offensive rating were super high. So I think even though there aren't analysts in the team, like analytics is impacting basketball in Europe as well. And yeah, like as you were saying before, to maximize the dollar, I think there are also a few cases here. For example, in Spain, there was the team. Well, there is the team of Obradoiro, but since the head coach moved to Basket Girona, he had a basketball analyst in the team that he moved to Girona as well, and especially in Obradoiro, they were always having the lowest budgets in the Spanish league, and they were able to every year get some players that were under the radar from the NCAA or like minor leagues, and it was only like one year that they were lasting there, because afterwards they were going to the Euroleague or other leagues like this. So I think as we see more examples like this, more teams will be taking this like risk, that I don't think it's a risk, but they will be brave enough to like, okay, this is worth it, because I know like a success story, and yeah, I think it's a matter of time.
And so, one last idea here on scouting, whether it involves analytics, whether it involves eye tests and film. When you're generally scouting, whether it's is there anything specific that you're looking for? Whether it's a player that you're scouting to recruit, in theory, that you want him on your team, or a player or a team, an opponent that you're scouting to prepare for in the film room, and you're going to look for matchups, look for something that you want to find an advantage over that opposition. Is there just anything in general that you look for when you're scouting that kind of paints a broad brush for any situation?
In my case, these last 3 years, since we had these couple of tournaments, the Minicopa and the Spanish Championship, what I've been focused as part of my role was to scout, as like to prepare for our rivals, and yeah, always we try to get as many videos as we could from recent games. But before doing that, I was trying to get stats as well. And for Minicopa and Spanish Championship games, the stats were online, only box score. But yeah, that's the beginning. And I was looking at efficiency and volume. I think this is the basic stuff, but being able, of course, if it's a high volume player and high efficiency, we have to take care of this guy and put someone that is a good defender on them. But as I was saying in the beginning, this was just the start. This was for me to know who should I pay more attention while I was watching the video, because there, just with these stats, there isn't any context. So with the video, I was able to see how this player was scoring, if it was like close to the basket, if it was like fast break, whatever, which is the box score can't give you that. And yeah, this is where you see the truth, also to be able to understand who they are playing against, because in the beginning maybe I watched or I had like only a few games of stats, but it was from their local league, but it's not the same to play against us. So from the video to also see, okay, he is scoring, but is he going to be able to score like this against us? It's something that I learned through the years.
Well, there it is. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk some hoops today, David. Any parting thoughts for me on just, anything basketball related? Not sure if you caught too much of FIBA Eurobasket. We got Franz and Schroeder doing their thing. Had to, give them a shout. Goga Batadze and Georgia doing their thing too. Any parting thoughts on just in a casual viewing sense on that tournament, or just coaching in general that we might have not hit on today?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I watched it as a fan, not really looking into the into the X and O's, but I really love these kind of tournaments when there are surprises. Like I love Serbia and how they play, but they were beaten by, now I don't want to say lie, but I think it was Finland. So yeah, stuff like this for me is crazy to see. how Finland was playing. Also with Murinen, a young player that I think it's crazy to see. There are always these surprises that this is what get us hooked into basketball, because unless we try to do it with analytics, it's unpredictable. And this is what we love.
Yeah, absolutely. That's everyone loves a Cinderella story. That's what basketball, makes basketball fun. Is that anyone has a chance any given Sunday, as in football terms as well. But especially with the power of that 3-point shot, sure seems like just about any team can beat any other team as long as they're on relatively even competition. And it's cool to see Finland with Markkanen and Mirinen, and Georgia with Batase. Make history. That was the farthest Georgia's ever made, the most farthest they've ever made in a tournament like that was the 3rd place. So I know Goga was really excited about it, and so wanted to give them a little shout out here at the end. But thanks a lot for taking the time today, David. It's been cool to pick your brain, hear a little bit about scouting and analytics, and you're coaching the youth levels with Barcelona over there. Wish you the best of luck going forward, and can't wait to see you continue to succeed with that team and where it goes from here.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. I had a great time, and thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. Have a good one.